I'm coming for you. I'm gonna find out who the fuck you are. You motherfucker. You are fucked. Clip this one, bitches. Mark my fucking words. I'm coming for you. You are fucked. And you are done. I'm coming for you. Coming for you. I'm coming for you.
Sound good?
Coming for you.
Fair enough?
Coming for you.
Alright.
You need Jesus. Please talk about boys. I'm looking. Please talk about punk ass bitches. I'm looking. We come from the bottom, and he cleans us off, and he raises us up. Raises us up. A man can lay with a man, but it's reached a point of, I believe, sexual attraction for Philip.
Enough with the being completely unfair to me and trying to make it out like I'm a villain. Go fuck yourselves. Literally, lick the shit in my asshole. I don't care about any of you. You're all insignificant humans. None of you will ever do anything with your lives. Get fucked.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Mark my fucking words. I'm coming for you.
Bloodshed and bullets.
You are fucked. And you are done. I'm coming for you.
On diarrhea day, dog.
Mark my fucking words. I'm coming for you.
Doodle let the trickle.
You are fucked. And you are done. I'm coming for you. Coming for you. Coming for you.
Sound good?
Coming for you. Coming for you. Turn on the oven. Coming for you. Coming for you. Coming for you.
Oh, Philip. How there are times I wish you say I'm divorcing Kat. Oh, there's times I wish I could be the one sitting in the car next to you. But Philip, it's just one day this may come true. Oh, Philip, you complete my butthole. I need you, Philip. Oh, you complete my butthole. Oh, I need you, Philip. Put baby on. I need you, Philip. In between his folds. Oh, Philip. Hot piece of man meat. Stay on top, Daddy. Hot piece of man meat. Because when you're on top, hot piece of man meat, we can enjoy being on the bottom. Oh, Philip, if I could lick your beard, I would. You complete my butthole, Philip. I need you, Philip. Oh, you complete my butthole. Oh, I love you, Philip. I need you, Philip. Oh, I love you, Philip. Dog, I need you, Philip. You complete my butthole. Oh, Philip, I wish for the day I can rub my slender, feminine hands through your greasy hair. If I could move my woman hips close to you as you're sitting down next to Jasper. Oh, I hate Kat. Kat doesn't deserve you, Philip. You have no idea what you mean.
Let me tell you something, brother. When I hold a man's penis, I tell you what I do. I hold on to it tight, brother. Because if that penis is vodka to Philip, woo, that's how it happens. Meerkat Mall. Who?
I need my boyfriend.
Please spread your leg, dog. Suck my ass, please. Please. Dog, I'm not a good dog. I'm a good sissified boy. Effeminate men, spread your cheek. They all soft. Dog,
I need my boyfriend.
please spread your leg, dog. Suck my ass, please. Please. Dog. Philip came in from his office with a moist beard.
All right, everybody. We're about to get down to business. Hold on, before we get down to business, I'm going to put the some smooth jazz on for us. I hope everybody's having a good day. Let's do some big ups in the chat here. It would help if I had my glasses on for the stream, because seeing is important. But big ups, everybody. Big ups in the chat to, looks like Urziel. Big ups Nerd Brew. Big ups Banana Jones. Big ups Lefty. How you doing, brother? Bunch of Israel. Bunch of okay, Endriled Wild. Big ups, which I think is Dead School. Get doxed. Ha 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 ha. Big ups to Punish Lasagna. I'll get you in a minute, buddy. I know you had a couple of things to say, and Lefty, should you feel the need to spurg a bit, we'll get you on here too. I caught this like semi-flaccid DS Politics segment while I was trying to finish up my workday yesterday before taking the holiday break, and boy, is it dented. What's up, Almighty Bree? Let's get into it. But before we do that, Punish Lasagna, if you're ready, I'm gonna pull you into the stream here. I'll pull you into the Discord call. Let me actually just check my Discord filters. No, don't want that. Okay. All right, Punish Lasagna, I'm gonna hit you up. We'll get you on stream. And as I said, Lefty, should you feel the need to spurg, hit me up.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up? How you doing today? Thanks for coming on stream.
Hey, no problem. I'm happy to talk Pig Roach.
Oh, always happy to talk, Pig Roach. All right, so I've confirmed you are coming into the stream, and it seems like you're at pretty good levels. Let's just boost you up a little bit. Yeah, so a bunch of us were talking in the general chat thread about this particular spurg. I have my takes on it. Obviously, you do too. But I think, what do you say we just let him cook for a while, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah, if I started with my takes, we would never actually get to like what he said.
Yeah, me too.
The only thing I was gonna say just to start was I don't normally get mad at the internet when it comes to the pig, but this segment made me mad at the internet. There's just something about it that was so dented, like even for him. So I'm happy to talk about it today.
Well, this is the product of him filtering all of his news through Twitter, right? Because
correct.
This was very much a Fox News Twitter take, 100%. Let's not talk too much about it at the outset. Let's just get into it. Here we go. Okay. Oh, you know what? It'd help if I shared my screen with you. So
yes,
I'll do that.
I was just gonna do that. Yep.
Got to be a good host. All right, I'll send him at 1080. Yep. Okay. Here we go.
Okay. Got rid of a couple of them there. So, that is the Phil's Day Off segment. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everyone's favorite segment, and it's time for a nice epic rant. It is time for the news segment. Also known as...
I also want to point out, did you hear what he just said? It's time for a nice epic rant, thus nullifying any legitimacy of his news segment at all. So this is not a news segment. He just admitted this is not a news segment. It is a drama segment.
And he immediately led with like, "Here's a rant." Like he's just setting it up for people like us to clip and restream him. This is all he's doing.
You know what? He wanted this, and I'm happy to give it to him, honestly, because even though he set the stage for us to do exactly this, his takes are incredibly dented. So let's get into it.
DSPN. We have one story today that I'd like to cover. There were a few during my day off, but none of them really resonated, or I didn't really care too much about them, quite frankly. One story has resonated. Ladies and gentlemen, do any of you remember a game that came out early this year that at the time was highly praised, was selling like hotcakes, everyone was talking about it, okay? I did an amazing playthrough of it, others did a playthrough of it, but it was so...
I also would like to establish him saying the game is highly praised is not exactly true.
No,
people liked the game, but there's a difference between people liking a game and it being critically praised. Would you say?
I would agree with that. I think I want to wait a little bit as he gets deeper into his take until I get onto my take on Hogwarts Legacy.
Sure,
but
sure.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that overall statement. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So actually, let's let him cook for a bit, and then if you need a pause, just tell me you need a pause, and I'll cut him off if I feel the need to cut him off. But let's go.
So controversial that all of a sudden people seem to act like the game doesn't exist. Of course, the game that I am talking about is called Hogwarts Legacy, the first ever major Harry Potter or Hogwarts universe game where you could actually open world roam not only, the Hogwarts Academy, but also the towns around it, all these dungeons, all this content, right? A game that sold like crazy. Do you remember how it was insanely great of a seller when it came out? And it's funny because people talked about it for a while, but it always had to be embroiled with controversy about, is it okay to like this game? Because J.K. Rowling, the original creator of the Harry Potter universe, has been saying things politically for years about trans people and messed up stuff. And so is it okay to like this game even if you don't agree with the politics of the creator of the universe? And I don't know how that became the dialogue. It's just a fucking video game. Okay? And the best part about it is the people who made the game have no association with J.K. Rowling at all. In fact, they completely disagree with her statements in politics. There is a character in this game who is trans, who is a very positive character, well written, well liked, and one of the more positive people in the entire game, portrayed in a
you laughed. Care to elaborate on that?
I just laughed at the comment of him saying it was a very positive character. Like that it's just so weird for me that he's like, oh yes, this trans person is a positive character, and thus it's okay for them to be in it. It's just a weird way of him to phrase it is all. Yeah,
and two, like looking at that character existed, basically. Like
right.
The trans character existed in the game, and it was pretty incidental. So I think one of the things that I sort of wanted to break open here is that he is stretching the inclusion of a single trans character very far here, like incredibly far, and it doesn't mean what he thinks it means.
Go ahead. The whole I didn't want to pause him too much, but fuck it, we're here.
Yep.
Him talking about they have no association with J.K. Rowling. Well, how the fuck did they get the rights to the Harry Potter series, right? Like. That is, I know that WB owns it, but it's kind of an intractable issue. Like if you're making a Harry Potter anything, you have some form of relationship with J.K. Rowling. You have to. That's the game.
Yes. And Red Animator in the chat points out that she did allegedly get $150 million from the deal to make the game. And J.K. Rowling is known to be very, very, not hands-on, but she's protective of her property. She is very well known for doing that. So even though she didn't have direct creative input on the story beats of this game, she sure as hell signed off on it.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, with the movies, she was heavily involved in the scripts, and there was nothing in those movies that would have gone through without her approval. And I mean, my thoughts on J.K. Rowling aside, like, that's fine, good for her. I mean, she wrote the books. If she wants to have that kind of level of control over her property, fine. That I don't really think that that's the core of the issue here.
Yeah, he's trying to set the stage by couching this in two issues, which is one, trans character was included in the game, was a quote-unquote positive portrayal according to him, and he's also trying to say that this game had nothing to do with JK, which is factually not true when you're talking about the wizarding world of Harry Potter. So he is basically setting up a completely false argument here, but you and I will elaborate as we go. Let's let him cook a bit longer.
Completely great light. Okay? So how you can actually be supporting, trans people and then say this game is anti-trans, I have no idea. You didn't play it, basically. You didn't play it, you didn't watch someone play it, you didn't review it. You just said, oh, Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling.
Right. And that's a distinction that this is a great screenshot, by the way. That's a distinction. that's a distinction that his tiny pig roach brain doesn't distinguish. No one is saying the game is anti-trans. In fact, I will concede him that the game itself, via inclusion of a trans character as part of the plot, could be argued to be either pro-trans or at least trans-inclusive. So nobody was ever making that argument. It was about the fact that the argument is J.K. Rowling is someone who is very outspoken anti-trans. Is that a problem for the art she's associated with? That's the argument. It's not about the art itself. And he keeps trying to say that it's about the art itself. You know what I mean?
Right. Correct.
But again, I always say this about Phil's politics. He's not smart enough to have a consistent political ideology, and if we let him cook a little bit longer, we will see him prove that out for us right here.
I hate this. Like an idiot. Instead of having any factual basis for anything you're saying, you just, knee-jerk reaction politically to things, right? Sadly, that's just what a lot of people do these days. It's very sad, but that's what it is. A lot of knee-jerk reaction people. Personally, I made the choice that I wanted to play this game. I even did a YouTube short about it that had tens of thousands of views after a while. I think it was like 10,000 views after a while. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was like 5,000 views. I don't know. I haven't seen the short in a million years. But basically, my choice. The game starts off absolutely crazy strong. Right? It's really good at the beginning. When you're first exploring Hogwarts, when you're first exploring the outside towns and environments, and once you start getting into dungeons and challenges and puzzles, it's really well done. The story elements are good. They're interesting. You're taking classes, but you're also interacting with other students and other people. You're interacting with the creatures of the universe. You're getting new traversal abilities. You ride a broom. You're riding a freaking griffin or whatever the hell it is. I forgot what they call it in the Harry Potter universe, right?
I loved the game so much, but can't elaborate
really, really
about anything
then when you
on
hit
it.
about the
That's
halfway
great,
point,
Phil.
it's still good, but not as good, because you kind of realize there's not that much else. Once you start unlocking most of the good spells unlocked, right? You've already seen the town now, so you're not won
Also,
over by
Ludwig in the chat, big ups,
like
points out tens of thousands of views.
Right, it was really strong early
maybe
on.
5,000. I don't know.
It's still
Okay.
good, but it's definitely starting to sputter, right? It's like, it's losing its momentum. The final third of the game is pretty damn boring. I'm not gonna lie.
So I'm gonna stop him here too, because we're seeing into the future. Yeah. Basically, his argument is that Hogwarts Legacy should have been considered for Game of the Year, should have at least been nominated. That's what he's eventually going to say here. But also, in this synopsis, if you want to call it that he just did, he basically made the argument for why it shouldn't be Game of the Year. He said, strong start, which I agree with. The game does have a very strong start. Then it gets tedious towards the middle and then kind of picks up towards the end. He basically said at least some of the game is filler. And that's an argument for it being kind of mid and not Game of the Year. But then he's going to say it should have been considered and you all snubbed it because of, transphobic JK. You know, it's very inconsistent, and he has no idea what is a political argument, what is a moral argument, and what is a business argument. He kind of like mixes all three together, not understanding A, the point of the award show, B, that games are about making money, and C, that this is not necessarily an argument about the game itself, but an argument about someone who's tangentially attached to the game, you know?
Right, and the crux of his argument that he's going to get into here, you know, without spoiling too much, I guess, is that the game sold a lot. Therefore, it should be something that's considered for Game of the Year, which on its face is a just ridiculous argument. You know, like I think I said in the Detractor Beam Discord, by his logic, Call of Duty, Madden, FIFA, NBA 2K, those should be the every year they should be the Game of the Year nominees.
Yes.
That's how he bases it off of, and we can get into this a little more. But I mean, if you look at the 6 games that were nominated, I played all of them except for one. I didn't play Super Mario Wonder, but none of those, and I played Hogwarts Legacy, and none of those games I would say are any worse than Hogwarts Legacy. If that game was up there and it was the 7th game, it would be by far the weakest of the group.
Yes, I agree. It's like I said, I happen to like the game because I happen to like the wizarding world of Harry Potter quite a bit, and sometimes you just like a comfort food game you can just kind of chill and play for a while.
Right.
But it's mid, you know, and it's okay to like mid games. I like plenty of mid relaxing experiences, but he's basically saying this should have been Game of the Year. You all snubbed it. Without admitting that the game is kind of average, you know? He wanted to manufacture a rant, basically.
Yeah, like I think Spider-Man 2 is a better game than Hogwarts Legacy.
Yes.
But I will admit straight up to being biased because I like Marvel Comics. I like Spider-Man. I've always grown up with that stuff. So like, even if it was a fairly mid game, if you're just Spider-Man and you're swinging around and doing fun stuff, my baseline of fun with it would be I'd be pretty happy with it. You know what I mean? I think it goes above and beyond that. But yeah, I mean, if you're somebody that likes Harry Potter, like my partner, like we bought the game because she wanted to play it. She doesn't play games normally.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that got into a lot of its sales success could be seen as someone like her who really likes Harry Potter, who wanted to play the Harry Potter game, you know, when she normally doesn't play games.
Yeah, same thing for me actually. This morning before this stream, I was playing Hogwarts Legacy on the PS5 in the living room. Started a new game with my girlfriend, and she was like, she doesn't play a lot of games, but she was kind of watching me go through the beginning stages. She's like, you know what, this is a cool looking fucking game. So like, that's why it sold incredibly well, because it's able to capture an audience both inside of and outside of the, as Phil would call it, the hardcore gaming space. And Phil, as a business guy, should pick up on that, but he's too myopic about what he's trying to do here that he's not seeing the whole picture.
Like they ran out of ideas. There's a whole
just super quick too.
Go for it.
Just to kind of get this out of the way. Like Hogwarts Legacy as a game is essentially like an Assassin's Creed Ubisoft style collectathon open world game. You know, it is a mile wide and inch deep. And if you're somebody who's never played a game like that before, it's going to seem really, really cool, or you don't play very many games like that. You and I would imagine, have played, you know, dozens of these kinds of games. So that kind of game design is something that, like, it seems very, like, last generation. Like, you have open world games like Baldur's Gate and Elden Ring that have kind of showed there's, you know, Zelda's another one that shows there's a different way that you can take open world game design.
Yes.
And so for us, people that play more games, something like Hogwarts Legacy is just going to come off as like fine, but kind of mid.
Yeah,
you know, and that's basically, if you read the reviews of it, you know, even from the quote unquote woke game journalists that were just reviewing it as a game, that was kind of their feeling on it. Like, it kind of wows you initially because it's got the whole Harry Potter thing, but once you spend some time in it, you're like, oh, this is just like Assassin's Creed or Far Cry with wizards.
I mean, the tightly scripted and controlled sequences that are part of the narrative are really strong and really good. But as you said, when you get into the open world, it is it is an inch deep, a mile wide. Because, like, yeah, you can explore every nook and cranny of Hogwarts. Like, you really can. There's a lot to see and do. But it, as Phil would say, is any of it meaningful? Like, does any of it stick with you? Like, the only things I remember from Hogwarts Legacy are the tightly scripted narrative parts. Honestly, that's the only thing I remember is the story, because the story did some interesting things, but maybe I would have rather seen that as a movie. I don't know. It's
not like an Elden Ring style game where if you explore, you could run into a boss that could drop a weapon that you wouldn't, normally see. Yeah. Really, what you get for exploring in Hogwarts Legacy is fan service, essentially. You get, which is fine. Again, I like fan service just as much as anybody. Like Spider-Man 2 as a Marvel, run around collectathon, loved it. Would not begrudge anybody for liking that kind of game. But yeah, he's trying to set it up that it was this great big snub, and it's just not. It's just not. I mean, there's games that I could argue. I mean, Cyberpunk, I could have made it if it was my game of the year. Like it should have been up there, or Armored Core. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's just an award show. It's not worth yelling about what he's about to do for 20 minutes.
Yeah, because truly, like, Baldur's Gate 3, not my game of the year because I didn't fucking play it. I'd probably say, like, if I were to pick a game of the year, it'd probably be Dave the Diver. And Lefty might actually agree with me on Dave the Diver because I know he spent a lot of fucking time playing Dave the Diver this year. But like, game of the year is such a stupid thing to get this bent out of shape about. It really is.
Yeah, if I had a top 5, Pizza Tower would be in it. Like, and I'm not under any illusion that Pizza Tower would get named Game of the Year. I just liked it a lot. And like, I wouldn't start my podcast by yelling about how the people hate Italians or something, and they decided to not put Pizza Tower up there. It's just stupid. It's so stupid to get mad about this.
And also, like, you can make the argument from the opposite side with how Phil handled Baldur's Gate. Phil actually actively snubbed that game, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because he was saying, oh, Starfield. Everybody's going to be talking about Starfield. Who the fuck is going to be talking about Baldur's Gate in 3 weeks? Meanwhile, Starfield is essentially dead. That game is dead. But everybody loves Baldur's Gate, like rightfully so. It's amazing how you can make this inverse argument for how Phil handled Baldur's Gate 3. Oh, big ups for the 10, Drew. I appreciate it. I'll let the TTS read that.
Okay, this is cool. There's going to be all
well, thank you for the super chat. But no, I would say don't charge back because you can't. It's not possible.
It's super boring.
I've always liked Warren Spector's one-block philosophy where the area is not big, but it's dense with content.
Yeah, Warren Spector's one-block philosophy is my favorite type of game. I think a game that I remember having such a big sense of place outside of Hitman, because you all know I can always talk about Hitman. I'm just going to mention Hitman briefly. I feel very intimately acquainted with all of those maps, and the sense of place in a Hitman map is like way more profound to me than anything in like a giant open world game. Moreover, the setting of Talos 1 in Prey is amazing, because by the end of that game, I got to knowing different passages and ways to get around there just naturally through the design of the game. And Phil is the type of guy that doesn't appreciate the small philosophy like that because he needs a quest marker. And I think that's why he loves the WB and Ubislop of Hogwarts and Far Cry 6 over the smaller, more confined, more deliberate design of something like Prey or something like that,
Or even Baldur's Gate, any game that where I got into Phil through this is how you don't play Metal Gear Solid 3. Like I think a lot of people did. And I mean, Metal Gear Solid 3 and Metal Gear in general is, as a game series, it's like, here's a problem. You got to get past these guys. Figure it out.
Yes.
That kind of game, there's a lot of options. You can sneak by them. You can kill them. You can do a combination. Whatever. There's tons of fun little things. Don't want to get into Metal Gear too much. But that kind of game is the kind of game that I really appreciate and like. And the kind of game that Phil just can't deal with. He needs to know exactly the button to press at the exact time. and that's why he likes games like that, and that's why he didn't want to play Baldur's Gate, because Baldur's Gate is a super open, to your creativity and like how you want to deal with issues, and he can't deal with that kind of mental juxtaposition,
Well, and this is exactly why Lefty and I gravitated so hard towards making this giant Hitman Endure series, because it is just fascinating to see him fold when he is given all of the tools, all of the places, and all of the access to everything he needs to complete a certain objective in amazing ways. He just folds. Like, I remember, like, Lefty pretty much lost his shit on, I think it was Bangkok, how Phil, he had killed the targets, I think, 2 different ways. And then Phil said, quote, well, I guess I'll just have to shoot him with a gun because I've exhausted all of my options for how to kill the target. And it's like, he truly does not understand how this type of game is rewarding.
It really shows his mentality about everything when games like Hitman are actually very liberating for a player, because they give you so many options, but he finds that very confining.
Yes, like almost every time Lefty and I either sit down to play Hitman together for the waiting room, or we watch Phil play Hitman, at least one of us is saying, I didn't know, I've been playing this game since it came out, and I didn't know you could do this in this way, We're still discovering things about Hitman and about other games because we're open-minded. Phil just needs, like, the Skinner box contraption of a game where he wants to hit the button for the dopamine hit and get the toys,
Right.
All right, let's let him cook just a little bit longer, because there's more.
We're getting into game design too much.
Yeah. Well, and you and I could talk about Hitman and Metal Gear, like, literally all fucking day.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I want to cook on his
God,
vintage.
the same puzzles, the same enemies, the same shit again. And so by the time you finish the game, the ending of the game is good, but you have to get through so much
Treyan, he does love
WWE
WWE champions for that reason.
Momentum.
Absolutely.
And it's like, okay, this is
because he just wants to be able to pay the money and get the hit. That's what he wants.
Now, if they can
Pay
follow
money,
this
get Hogan's,
up with
win.
a game
Yes.
that doesn't lose its good pacing and momentum, right? Then the second game could be much better. Like, that's how I felt. Like, the second attempt.
Oh, I
could
see
be
Ann
super good.
and
This one
Aura
was
Master
good,
in
don't
chat
get me
talking about
wrong. I'm
Minecraft.
happy I played
Yes,
it. I really am.
his Minecraft
But
playthrough would have
it
been dead
definitely
without
sputtered out at the
Papavera.
end, and
Everybody
it's a
remember
shame.
that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So here we are at the end of the year, and we just had the Game
Thanks for your help,
Awards.
Mr. Papavera.
Did you notice
Yeah.
something at the Game Awards?
And I like
You
how
know many
Papavera
times
explained
Hogwarts
that,
Legacy was
like,
nominated?
I don't know exactly what the context was, but he said, "Oh, I did
Wait,
okay
what?
with Phil because
But
I
it's the
work with
first
people like him
time
all the time." Like,
the true
implying
Hogwarts
that Papavera
universe
may work with
was
people with developmental
realized
disabilities.
in
I thought
a
that was funny.
fully interactive open world environment. It had good graphics, it had good gameplay elements, it had a ton of things in it that would equate to a game that should be awarded for the hard work and effort, and it got 0 nominations, 0 for anything. Even if you could argue,
All
okay,
right.
maybe the plot.
Can we get a pause on that?
Yes.
Super quick. So right off the bat, it's always really funny to me when people like Phil, he's the exact kind of person that would bitch about, like, a little league team getting a participation trophy. He is literally asking for Baldur's Gate, or not Baldur's Gate, I'm sorry, Hogwarts Legacy to get a participation trophy. It's like, you sold a lot of copies and the devs did good, so here you go, you should get your little nomination just because.
Yes, and I want to scope out one click further and argue that Phil has gone his entire life himself wanting to get a participation trophy, because if you think about all of his retrospectives, because he does retrospectives damn near every 3 months, every year now. And his biggest claim to fame is that he's existed for 15 years. Like, oh, I've been here for 15 years. I've been here. And, like, I want to say that I remember one of the last roasts I ended up doing before we put it on indefinite hiatus was the Machinima email thing, where he was going through all of the emails. He was asking them to just keep giving him the same amount of money, even though his numbers were down. Like, he literally just wanted a participation trophy, and that's how he lives his life. It's very sad. Very sad.
And it's funny too, because he's saying that they got no recognition. I mean, he's going to go on to say that it was like the best-selling game of the year. If you're the devs, or WB, the publisher, do you think they give a single fuck about a Game of the Year award when they're sitting on their Scrooge McDuck piles of money? They are perfectly happy with the reception of Hogwarts Legacy. And if anything, they are going to take that money and they might take the criticism that the game is a little shallow and hopefully make a deeper, more interesting game in the future. This has happened many times where a game comes out and the initial, I mean, Assassin's Creed 1 is a really good example. The initial game is good, but maybe a little shallow. And then because of the success of it, you build on it. Like, that's just kind of how dev work works.
Yeah. Incremental improvements, and not getting Game of the Year can be a way better learning experience. And as you said, they're in the business of making money. They're not doing it for the accolades at all. Like, WB basically gave them the assignment to make a Harry Potter game, and they did it well enough to make money. That's all it is.
Sputters out. The art direction? You're telling me the fucking game's art direction wasn't good? That was the first time we ever saw the Hogwarts universe in a 3D interactive environment. It reminds me of South Park: The Stick of Truth, when it was the first time you actually saw the town of South Park in a mapped out environment and you got spatial awareness.
There's no comparison here between Harry Potter and The Stick of Truth. They're a different type. They're a different type of game, and The Stick of Truth is like, I remember that game being pretty fleshed out. No.
Yeah, Stick of Truth is a pretty good game, and also, like, there's PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation 2 games, 3 games that you were in Hogwarts in a 3D space. Yes, they weren't fully open world, and they were a little more on rails, but there were tons of games that you could interact with Hogwarts before Hogwarts Legacy.
I remember something on one of the games on the PS2. The game would kind of like not end. Not like you could finish the story, but there would just be radiant quests that would just generate, and you could still fly around on the broomstick and play Quidditch. If anything, I'm surprised Phil isn't bitching that this game didn't have Quidditch, because
I hated that they didn't have Quidditch.
Yeah,
that was for me was like the thing that I was the most mad about. I was like, if you're gonna have an open world Harry Potter game and I can't play fucking Quidditch, get the fuck out of here.
And like the broom mechanics are there, the Quidditch pitch is there. Just do it. I'm surprised they didn't put a team on Quidditch after the fact when it was selling so well. That would have been a very like consolation for good free DLC, you know?
Yeah, when the game was new, I get it. They had to get it out of the door, and Quidditch is towards the end of, of their priority list. But like you said, they had the resources. I'm surprised they didn't do it too, because that was a big criticism they got, is that you couldn't play Quidditch.
I think that might just be the two of us being spoiled by the CD Projekt Red treatment of Cyberpunk, in that, like, I've come to expect that from other developers. Like, the redemption of Cyberpunk and No Man's Sky has kind of made it so that these devs don't have an excuse to not improve on their product if their stuff sells well. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I could wax poetic about Cyberpunk for literally hours.
Yeah,
so yeah.
We could. Well, Anne in the chat is bringing up a good point. It is pretty wild for him praising all of this open world shit, where not 1 year ago he rants about games having fluff content. I remember he was bitching about Zelda having too much to do. And now he's making the opposite argument here. I hate it.
And that wasn't even a year ago. I mean, what? That game came out in May? It was like 6 months ago.
That was this spring. Like, this past spring. And time is a flat circle, y'all. I don't know.
Awareness of where everything was, and to see it all be tied together was so damn neat. This did it even better than that, but gets absolutely no art direction whatsoever. No credit, right? If anything, I feel awful.
I don't know. There's nothing remarkable about the art direction for Hogwarts Legacy. It looked like the Shadow of War games, but with Harry Potter characters. That's what it looked like to me. Like, the goblins looked like the Lord of the Rings goblins. Like, there wasn't anything remarkable about it. I don't know why.
DSP is a dent, and he doesn't understand the difference between graphical fidelity and art direction. It does. The game did have good graphical fidelity, but again, the art direction is, fairly mid.
Yeah, the art direction is passable. It looks like a lot of games.
Yeah.
for the people who worked on this game, because the entire time they're working on it, they're working with the stigma that they're working with some
Okay, I'd also like to point out that not 2 days ago, because I streamed it, he was bitching out the Rockstar devs for continuing to make GTA Online, and now he's saying like, hey, the developers worked hard here, they should get some praise. Like, fuck off, dude.
I mean, to be honest, part of the reason why I spurged so hard about this segment yesterday was because in kind of a weird way, this rant dovetails really well with that one. It's like almost the complete opposite argument that he's making, where with this game, he's saying, well, the people spoke and they bought the game a lot, and because of that, the game should be rewarded. Yes. And then on the other hand, where the people spoke with GTA Online and obviously want to keep playing it, well, you're all a bunch of idiots. You just want to do stuff with your friends. You want to do what's trendy. You just want to do what the content creators want. You're ruining gaming. Well, which is it, DSP?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and he doesn't either.
Oh, Lefty wants in. I'm gonna pull him in. Hold on. This might start as a separate call, but I will pull him in.
Sure.
I'll pull you in. Both the L's together. All right. Let's see. I want to try and not end this current call. Let's see. I thought about doing this in video, but since it was planning on just being you, I figured it'd be easier to just do it in Discord. Lefty. All right, Lasagna's back. Lefty should be coming. And I will reshare the screen. And we're back. All right. Perfect. All right, yeah, let's let him cook a little bit more, and then Lefty will jump in when he can.
What's up, boys? For X reason. And the specific reason for this is because I don't get invited to these Game Awards shows. And then he just builds his entire argument downstream from that. So if he's accidentally right at any point, it's not because he's actually right. It's because he's just bitter that he's not one of the insider people. So
true. Yes, because if he were one of the, because he's basically saying, if I were one of these fucking game journos, I would have given it Game of the Year. Because that is what he's implying here, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, we'll just let him cook.
Yeah,
I had more to say, but I forgot about it during my last spurging segment.
That's all right. We've got the end of this segment, and then I marked another one. He did a follow-up during his Q&A on this that we can definitely get into. So let's go.
Kind of a bigot or whatever. They're not. They did not talk to J.K. Rowling.
Bigot.
They had zero input from her. This game has nothing to do with her politics. In fact, the game is the opposite of her politics. So imagine you're a game dev working on this game. You're creating a character who's a
and now we're a champion for game devs.
Yes. Okay. All of a sudden.
Really well written. A great representation of the trans
after a 40-minute rant earlier this week about fucking Rockstar.
The environments, and you want everything to be true to the people who are true fans of Harry Potter. Ridiculous amounts of people buy the game, and now absolutely no one pretends like it ever existed. Like, oh, this is the figment of our imagination.
Also, I hate this. I don't like when he says this. Oh, they're pretending like it never existed. Like, no, it's there. I see ads for it everywhere now because it's Christmas/New Year's and it's on sale everywhere. Like, it exists. People are buying it. I know people that bought it like last week for Christmas. What is he talking about? My God.
Huh?
Huh?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Like, are we all
the Game Awards
that?
are bullshit. They are 100% political.
I'll agree with him that the Game Awards are bullshit, but not for the reason he thinks. My main criticism of the Game Awards is that they let people like Matthew McConaughey spurg as long as they wanted, and they fucking played Sam Lake off stage after 35 seconds, you know? Like, that's what I have. They played actual devs off stage after 30 seconds, and Matthew McConaughey got to spurg about a trailer that he wasn't even in, you know? Like, the Game Awards do fucking suck. Go ahead, Lasagna.
By the way, Hogwarts Legacy doesn't exist. However, it is currently on the front page of Steam as a top seller.
Yeah,
but it doesn't exist.
That's what I'm talking about. Like I see a ton of people on my Steam friends list playing it this week. Like,
there's no reason why Hogwarts Legacy should have been forgotten at the Game Awards. That is 100% a political decision.
But you forgot about Baldur's Gate for 3 months and then played it? Hello?
Journalism community saying, well, just because it's J.K. Rowling Association, the game didn't exist. Fuck you. That is called...
No, people are like downplaying the game because it's mid. It didn't get recognized because it's actually mid. This is one of those not that deep situations, DSP.
Yep.
Like...
And I understand where this is coming from, because like the Streisand effect that made Hogwarts really popular was just a bunch of terminally online weirdos.
Yes.
And DSP himself is a terminally online weirdo.
Correct.
So he's like on the same wavelength as these people. And so yeah, that's the rest of it just kind of falls into place once you accept that premise.
Yeah, and Lee, you bring up a good point in the chat, buddy. I just want to know what award he thinks it should have won. Like, not Game of the Year, correct? Best art direction? No.
He even says later that it wouldn't be his game. It wouldn't be one of his Game of the Year. So what are we talking about? What is this?
Yeah. He's just filling time at this point.
Slow news day.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
Yeah. You know what? So Snoot always says the most dented explanation is usually the correct one. The most dented explanation is that this was a slow news day. He wanted to spurg, and here we are. That's literally it. Yep.
Been there.
Yep.
Let's be honest here.
That's why I'm here right now.
Yeah. Well, I honestly wanted to stream this morning, so this was a good time to do it. And I knew Lasagna Cat wanted to jump on, and since we have 3 L's on this stream, this is great. I'm glad we're here.
And then I saw the beacon was lit.
Yeah.
Spurging was required.
Yeah, we lit the Spurg beacons, and Lefty abided. He's here.
Highest. You've destroyed any instance
that was pretty fucking greasy.
Yeah.
When you decide at the end of the year, when you're looking at the best games of the year, that this game doesn't even get
He thinks Game Awards are impartial? What is this? It's not some impartial tribunal. It's not a jury. It's a popularity contest. Like, can we all admit that the Game Awards are literally like a superlative popularity contest? Hello?
Yeah, they don't matter. They're not sports. They're not. It's not a basketball game where a person who scores more points wins. It's not a, it's always going to be subjective. Like,
yeah,
that's how these things work. You just take the people that they have the most, like this panel of people, the Game Awards said, yes, Baldur's Gate 3 is the best of these games.
Yeah.
And that's it. And those people, nothing makes them special. They're just people that were selected for these awards.
Also, DSP, if the Game Awards are bullshit, why did it take Baldur's Gate 3 winning Game of the Year for you to play it? Think about that, DSP.
Like it never
he has to play it, guys, so he can see if it counts in his Game of the Year.
Oh yeah. Actually, you're right. That is exactly what he said. He was like, "Well, I guess I have to play it because I need to consider it for my year-end series."
I need to consider it, and it wouldn't be fair. I would just be like those journos if I didn't consider it. Snort.
Yeah,
he's not as chill though.
I played maybe 3 or 4 games that came out this year, so I'd consider those. And my Game of the Year is Dave the Diver. There, because I can't say Hitman, it's Dave of the Diver. There you go.
If you cannot be impartial, because that's the point of journalism. Get it? But
no, it's not.
No, but award shows are not journalism. He's conflating the two. Like, that's not.
And also, as a journalist, a former journalist, I used to work in the field.
Me too. Yeah.
They tell you when you're studying for these things that impartiality is impossible.
It's a myth.
You have to strive for it. That's the goal. But you have to realize that any content you produce, anything you write, it's going through your brain.
Mm-hmm.
So you are going to have, now this is why you have editors, this is why you have a team. It should hopefully flow through enough people that it becomes as impartial as possible. But the idea that it's impartial is just a myth. It just doesn't exist. You have to strive for that, but that's all you can do. He doesn't understand these things.
It's the impartiality of journalism is aspirational. It is purely aspirational because it's impossible. And him calling out, this is the stupidest thing, that he of all people are calling out people for their biases when he is a one-man echo chamber who doesn't talk to anybody else. Like, come the fuck on.
Entire games industry is leftist leaning.
And hopefully do a good job so they get hired for the next one.
Yep.
They're not in it to make some kind of a agenda like Dave here thinks. He has no idea how people that have actual jobs do things. No idea.
No, not at all. And the thing is, like, this is how you know he is drunk scrolling Twitter constantly at night, because this is Twitter filtered through his gin brain 100%. Because the easiest political stance to take is that everybody is wrong and I'm right, and that's the stance he's taking right now. He's trying to present himself as the enlightened centrist, and he's just dumb. That's all it is.
Mentality that everything's about politics. It's not, you dumb fucking idiots.
Well, Twitter is the only interaction he ever gets with the outside world.
True.
But
Twitter and his laptop. So like Twitter, Derek, Canadian Kirk, and Jade are his outside
Which
world.
makes sense where this rant came from.
Actually, yeah. Has he
that.
been talking to Kirk behind the scenes? Because Kirk is shadow banned on YouTube, by the way. So get fucked, Kirk.
Fucking meme.
It's not always about you and your politics. It's about, was the game good? Yes, it was. It wasn't the best game of the year.
No, it wasn't.
But there were tons of parts of that game.
See, he just said it. It's not the best game of the year. So, and? Like, why are we here? And?
Were really awesome. They're awe-inspiring. To see those things.
Awe-inspiring.
Awe-inspiring.
Okay.
Hello?
I don't know if I would use the word awe-inspiring to describe anything in any video game ever. I just don't. It's not that deep. They're video games, man. Like, you know what his problem is? And I think we're seeing it here. His whole life is video games, so he knows nothing else. So to him, like, mundane shit in a video game can be awe-inspiring. I think it's partially that. You know what I mean?
Anne's nailing it in chat right now about it could get DLC for more story tomorrow and he wouldn't touch it.
No,
I mean,
wouldn't.
100%. God of War, he simped for that game. And it just got free DLC that's supposedly very good. And he's like, I don't know, guys, I just don't know if I have time to fit it in. I gotta play Baldur's Gate. I gotta play Like a Dragon. I gotta play all these games. I just don't know when I'll have time.
We talked about it earlier. Cyberpunk is a game that has been entirely reworked, entirely remade. And he's not touching it. He's not touching it. But he's now saying, like, give these devs their due. Like, fuck off. Come on.
He's the game dev champion, dude. He's never told game devs to off themselves or anything.
I don't know if you heard this slogan, but he went on a good Cyberpunk rant a couple nights ago on Nights.
Oh yeah. And I thought about booting up for that because I had some thoughts on that, but I was like, no, I'd rather just go play Cyberpunk instead of wasting time listening to him talk about it.
Over violent, over sexualized world, giant
advertising
dildos everywhere.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Was married, so if you were married, you would understand.
Yeah.
To say the game doesn't exist is an insane disservice.
But no one's saying it doesn't exist.
And you should be kicked out of your fucking job if you think.
And now, so he always does this. He always does this. He basically just said, Hogwarts didn't get any nominations, therefore Jorno should be fired. Okay, why?
And also, it's just
they did their job and they decided it was mid. So now you want them fired? Hello?
Well,
go ahead.
And also, it's such a stupid thing where he's like, you say the game doesn't exist, so you should be fired. There's thousands of games that came out this year that didn't get any kind of nominations. Are they saying that those games didn't exist? Like, this is such a stupid line of logic.
Yeah, like, I think Dave the Diver should have gotten more than it did, but it's a stupid awards show, so I don't really care. I just love Dave the Diver, you know?
Yeah, the real question is, who cares?
Yeah, well, Phil, apparently. And he's
does anyone actually care about this?
Yeah,
and like, even if you're Hogwarts stan, are you like seething because, like, if you are, I'm sorry.
Well,
that's bad. But I don't think anybody is.
Do you know what the people who enjoy Hogwarts Legacy are doing? They're playing it. They're playing it right now. Yeah, like they're playing it right now.
Imagine that.
Fucking care. Yeah, imagine.
Maybe
playing
for the second
you like. Yeah.
Maybe for the second, third, fourth time. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, oh god. And there's people that like Starfield too. Like mid games have people that like them.
Have to be impartial. You do.
Take a sip.
Take a sip, asshole.
Yeah. Since last night. Someone's in my modem, guys.
You got noise in the line.
Someone at Spectrum is sabotaging me, guys. Yeah, it's we have a Spectrum taking L's the tractor.
Legacy
Leet
is
knows my
on
pain.
track to becoming the best-selling game of 2023 in the United States. I want to repeat that statement. For the first time since...
Let's fact check. Was it the best-selling game of 2023? I'm gonna pull up another tab and best-selling game 2023. Google says different. Google's skim of GameSpot says different. I'm gonna pull this up here. Hold on. Let's get this tab up here. Star Wars Jedi Survivor apparently was number 1. So I don't. My point of bringing that up is that that's all bullshit.
I think that order is from 10 to 1.
Oh, good call.
I think.
Then if that's true, then it is Hogwarts Legacy. Best-selling games in the U.S. Yeah, chart toppers, Hogwarts Legacy. Well, good on them, but like best-selling game does not equal game of the year.
Yeah, like Modern Warfare 3. That was number 2, right?
Yeah,
like, I mean, it's a really good game.
Like Modern Warfare 3 sold way better than every other game that was nominated, pretty much, and it didn't get Game of the Year. So that logic is flawed.
2009.
2000.
The United States is going to have
like all the every year sports games should be top of the line.
Yeah,
every single year. And but of course, if Madden or NBA 2K was on that list, oh my god, he would be on his soapbox yelling, "Oh, they're just the same game coming out every year with minor improvements." Like, he has no consistent base for these things. He'd
say it's not about sales numbers. It's not about sales numbers. Where this time he's saying it's actually about sales numbers.
Because if you really listen to this, if you really break down, he says, what are his reasons for this game being Game of the Year? 1, it looks nice. 2, you can see Hogwarts. 3, it sold a lot.
Okay.
That's about it. That's really about it.
I mean, if it's his Game of the Year, that's fine, but that's where that's where this should stop. Like, that's exactly where this should stop.
A bunch of people bought it for Christmas.
Sorry about the stream, everybody. I'll fix my internet after the stream.
It's going to be damned close. But the game doesn't exist.
I think I know what it is. I think I know what my internet problem is. But it would take longer than YouTube would allow me to keep the stream up to fix it. So sorry.
Hogwarts Legacy, I never heard of it. Right? I don't know what you're talking about. It's the best-selling game of the fucking year. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, fuck you then. You know what?
Who said this? I want to know who said, I don't know what you're talking about. Hogwarts what? Who said? No. It's been part of the conversation. It's just mid. Like, it's just mid, dude.
It's his other schizo personality.
He makes it sound like there was a guy in the crowd during the Game Awards who was like yelling at Jeff Keighley, like, "You gotta recognize Hogwarts Legacy," and Jeff was like, "What? What's that?"
Did he want someone to run up on stage like that kid did that talked about the Clintons last year? Did he want someone to run up on stage and say, "Oh, Hogwarts Legacy should have won, but I'm gonna let Baldur's Gate finish," or whatever? You know?
He wanted somebody to run up on stage with the trench coat on and then like unveil it and just have copies of Hogwarts Legacy lining on the inside and being like, "This is it. This is your Game of the Year," like a suicide bomber.
Yeah, exactly. Just opens a trench coat, just copies of Hogwarts. Yeah.
I never heard of you. Sorry, IGN. Sorry.
Okay, I guarantee you a lot of those game journalists have heard of DSP, but not for the reasons he thinks.
GameSpot. Sorry, Kotaku. Sorry, every other fucking game journalist website that shit. You don't exist to me because none of you can acknowledge fucking facts. We don't.
But Phil, you're reading Kotaku Twitter headlines almost every day. So what the fuck, man? What the fuck?
ignore facts
And again,
in our faces.
Go ahead,
because we
Lasagna.
have-
But again, what are the facts that he's ignoring? The game of the year, it's an award for like the best game, not the one that sold the best. They're not ignoring the fact that it sold the best. It's not like anybody went up on stage and was like, yeah, we know that Hogwarts Legacy sold the best, but fuck that game and fuck anybody that thinks it's good.
Yeah, fuck
Because you're all bigots.
Because
you're all bigots.
Yeah,
and you know what?
'cause you're all
Especially if you're
bigots.
Phil Burnell, I know you're watching Phil Burnell. Fuck you in particular.
Yeah, fuck you, Phil. Well, honestly,
I
honestly, fuck Phil Burnell should be part of every Game Awards going forward. Factually,
I agree.
I'm gonna write a letter to Jeff Keighley and see if he can stick that in there. But
it's like people that go to wrestling shows and have the signs that say DSP get a job.
Yeah,
like,
oh my god,
that's what I want.
There's new signs popping up to this day on wrestling pay-per-views about DSP. It's amazing.
That have nothing to fucking do with the game. Okay? So, yeah, it's bullshit. And I'm
banning somebody.
Phil shits on games all the time that have nothing to do with the game and everything to do with him. He said Zelda had too much to do, and that's why he hates it. Like, that's a Phil problem, you know? That has nothing to do with the game. Come on.
It's because
Too much
listen.
Or like Hitman is our prime example around here. Obviously, if you watch Lefty or I play Hitman, you know it's a good fucking game. But if Phil is your only exposure to Hitman, you'd think it's dog shit. You know, like it's a Phil problem.
Hogwarts Legacy is not my game of the year pick. I don't think that's going to be anyone's surprise to hear that. It's not.
Okay, then shut the fuck up.
Then what the fuck is that?
Those game developers deserve credit for what they did.
It's not my game of the year.
Absolutely, they do. They
Not my
shouldn't be
president.
punished.
So all the shills need
The creator of the universe might have a stance that a lot of people don't agree with, and
Sieg Heil, okay?
Oh yeah. Oh,
that was a long one. We
I
held
almost
it.
missed that. Oh my god. That's a good one. All you clippers and screenshotters. There you go. There you go.
He held it for a while
He
too.
did.
a lot of people don't agree with, and the fucking games
Very
media
fitting
are
on a
bunch
politics
of
stream. to
leftist,
have
lean,
that.
biased, bigoted
6
idiots.
million.
Yes, I'm gonna say that. The games
Very
media
robust.
are bigots.
Yes.
Because they're bigoted against anything they don't agree with. Which
But
is
that's not bigotry.
No.
I disagree with Phil on this, but I'm not a bigot against Phil. That's not. This dude needs a dictionary.
I might be.
Yeah, I was gonna say I definitely am.
Well,
I don't even know the full definition, but I can tell you I probably am.
But I mean, but in the context he's trying to use it, he's misapplying it. Like his idea of bigotry is not the internet weirdos raging against J.K. Rowling's idea of bigotry. Like they're different types of bigotry, I guess. Like there's not. It's a false equivalency he's drawing because he's stupid.
He's just saying words that he read on Twitter.
Yes,
that's what's
yes.
happening.
I mean,
It
by
is
his logic.
It is a fucking Brick Tamlin, I'm naming things around the room kind of thing. Go ahead, Lasagna.
Yeah, by his logic, like being a troll is being a bigot, which again, I might be.
Yeah,
Of Phil specifically.
I would be
But-
too. All three of us would be. But yeah, by his logic, Tevin is the world's biggest bigot then. Because according to Phil, Tevin has devoted his life to sending his hate army after Phil, you know? Big ups, hate army.
Oh,
Egg
well,
gang.
Last of Us 2 is the ultimate, penultimate best, or not penultimate, but the ultimate
Penultimate. What?
That's some valedictorian shit.
Because
None of us.
Now I know why Phil checks the data. I'm refreshing the stream, and we're back.
like that, right? You like the fact that the other main character
I know,
was a
I'm
more
checking the data.
butch kind of woman who was strong, and that's not this typical
Butch.
hero. That the
Also,
pace
I'd
is
like to know
awful,
how he knows
that
what
it
torture
jumps
porn
around
is.
timelines so badly you get confused. That it completely changes the personalities of the characters from the previous games for plot devices. I mean, I could go on and on.
Ghost of Sumisha
about how
was
narratively that game is
nominated for a
trash.
Game Award.
Yes.
By the way.
It's game of the year no matter what, because it pushed all the ideas we like of the leftist gaming media. We love this, right? So because
Leftist gaming media. That is a loaded statement. Leftist
It is a loaded
gaming
statement.
media.
And because I'm not a pussy, unlike Phil, I'll be upfront about what my beliefs and opinions are. I would be considered a leftist, I think, by most, standards. I want to
too.
know seriously, and I'm not doing this, like, what is leftist about revenge is bad? That's really all it is. I
Yeah.
wouldn't consider it a quote-unquote leftist game. So by you calling it that says more about, like, you and your thoughts and where you're coming at things than, like, what the game is trying to come at.
If anything, you can make a political argument for The Last of Us if you're looking at the characters be libertarian in nature.
Yeah.
But that's another conversation. But there's no socialist undertones or overtones there. It's not talking about equality. It's not talking about equity. Like, there's nothing left-leaning in Last of Us at all. The only thing
it'd be one thing if Abby had this long discussion about how she had to, like, you know, seize the means of production or whatever the fuck. Like, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Like, Last of Us has a few gay characters in it. Thus, because it has a few gay characters and one trans character, it's leftist media. Like, no.
That game of the year.
Also, I do blame his beef with Neil Druckmann on a lot of his bad Last of Us takes, and also fuck Neil Druckmann for, like, overly politicizing his game after the fact, because Neil Druckmann has had some very water-brained takes about, like, the political meaning of Last of Us. He has changed it so many times, it's ridiculous.
If you disagree with us, you're a bigot.
You! Yes,
well, guess
you!
What? Since you ignored Hogwarts
You're
Legacy,
a bigot.
You're all bigots. Every one of you. You're so bigot.
We're bigots for ignoring a product. Okay, dude. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta consume all products or else you're a bigot.
Lefty prefers Sundrop to most drinks. Does that make him a drink bigot? Come on.
I think it does, actually.
What a bigot. Sundrop's in the chat, by the way, if you got him.
Against things that you don't agree with, that you will ignore entire games as if they don't exist. That's bigotry. That's prejudice.
No, it's not. It's
literally not.
It's not.
I don't think
that. That's just making a choice between what you think is a better game and not. Like, by his logic, we should never give out awards then. We should never give out awards because everybody is special snowflakes and you don't want to offend anybody for giving something an award. Like, come on.
Famously, the KKK did not consume the same products that the civil rights activists did, as we all know.
Yes, famously, yes.
It's just bad going the other way. Now, you can argue that being
This is so disingenuous. He's just so mad that he wasn't invited still. And like, no, there's so few people that actually care about the Game Awards, and I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
And despite the seeming irrelevancy of it, we're still seething about it.
Yeah, we're still seething
there
about
are,
it.
15 years, we're gonna
I don't understand where he's coming at this from, or like how he thinks these things work. I mean, I know what it is. Like, I think Lefty, you nailed it. He's mad that he thinks he should be there.
Yeah.
He thinks he should be Jeff Keighley, and he should be the one telling everybody, like, the game of the year is Street Fighter 6, except the parts with Cammy's in it.
The thing is, like, under different circumstances, there was a point in his life where he could have had some influence. He could have been that guy in a lot of ways, you know?
Machinima tried.
Yeah.
Machinima tried. They reached out to him and they're like, yo, Phil, you know, streaming can't do it forever. Like,
Yeah.
what do you want to do next? And he's like, hey, what are you talking about? I just want to support my channel. I want my channel to be as big as possible. I'm like, well, yeah, but you know, maybe there's other things you could do. Like, you really like fighting games. Maybe you could be a fighting game commentator. What? Why would you? What?
Dude,
no, you're trying to tear my channel down.
Dude, if somebody approached me,
Fucking moron.
if somebody approached me to do commentating for whatever, I'd be like, yeah, sign me the fuck up. That's great. Sure. Like, people were begging him to diversify, and he spat in their face.
and not GTA. That's
It just boils down to if he wasn't him, then blank.
like it never existed.
Yeah,
And,
if
he wasn't him,
because if he wasn't him, he could have made something of himself, and maybe he would have been at these award shows, you know. But he's him. The problem is him.
Get the fuck out of here.
Get him out of here.
Agreed.
Stream, by the way, because that one was toxified because of my internet issues.
Yes.
So I'm gonna do a second one this week. I don't know when, but I'm gonna do a second one.
I finished the VOD, by the way. It was good.
I lost some people. My memoriam segment is gonna get a substantially longer next time. God.
All right. It's time for shout
outs.
All right. There's
now, guys.
there's another timestamp I wanna get to. Hold on. I marked it down here. 136. Yeah, 136. Because he does a couple shout outs and then someone baits him into giving a stupid answer. So 135. Big ups Raw Phil, by the way. You're a saint. All right, here we go.
We got a Stig Heil on the As you scrub through it, I just saw him.
Oh yes, we've got like a half heil, pretty much. Yeah, it's a half mast.
That's a 3 million.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 million.
Yes. Thank you, Lasagna.
Halfway there.
Oh god.
130. Yeah.
Got to it first.
We'll come in here. Burnell.
Hello.
Huh?
Get lean.
Yeah? What? Now listen to this.
Tip, if the Game Awards are biased against Hogwarts Legacy for being woke, why did Last of Us 2 win Game of the Year a while back? What? That's not what I said at all.
What?
No, they're trying.
That is what you said.
So he's missing it, but they're trying to shoot holes in his prior argument about The Last of Us, because he basically was like, The Last of Us doesn't deserve Game of the Year from all these woke gaming journalists. So he's saying that Hogwarts was snubbed by woke journalists. And then he's also saying that there was a lot of dick riding by woke journalists to get Last of Us Game of the Year. So
I said that the Game Awards are biased against Hogwarts.
You misunderstood what I said.
J.K. Rowling invented the universe.
Yeah, not now, because our argument was disingenuous from the start. Like this doesn't matter at all. So now we're just gonna clarify and retcon and try and exhaust our argument opponents.
Yes.
Until they eventually just give up and like, you know what? I don't care anymore.
The games media are incredibly leftist leaning.
Which is his tactic.
Okay.
Always has been.
Incredibly progressive.
I don't know if he reads games media, but there is also some incredibly conservative games journalists out there. If you look for them, there are some waterbrain leftist takes on games, and there are some waterbrain righty takes on games. You can find them everywhere.
Game of the Year no matter what. Oh, really? What about this? Oh,
I don't know. I think if you look for institutional validation for your preferences,
I'm a bigot now. Okay.
I think you got bigger problems.
But that. Thank you, Lefty. I didn't have the words for it, but you did. Your life, to quote Low Tier God, your life is nothing if you need institutional validation. Because that's what Phil wants. Phil wants institutional validation.
Yep.
He thinks he's literally gonna wake up one day and the internet's gonna be like, oh, we were all wrong about you, Phil. Here's all the money. Here's all the award. No, that's literally what he thinks. Because he keeps saying if my trolls just left me alone, I'd be fine.
And because he's a terminally online weirdo, he doesn't understand how like people deal, like how you interact with like art and things, right? Like, again, I straight up said like I would consider myself like a leftist, but that doesn't mean that I won't engage with or enjoy media that's like very conservative. Like, I like the Dirty Harry movies. Yeah. I like a lot of 80s action movies that are extremely reactionary.
Dude,
but I like them because it's like it's art. It's not that deep.
And the thing is, like, Lasagna, I too, like, I'd consider myself very leftist, but I also have on disc every movie that Clint Eastwood has ever made because he's good at making movies, you know?
Yeah, he's an amazing filmmaker, and he's also a right-wing dude. And that's fine.
He's incredible. Like, when you work in media or even just like things, there has to be some degree of separation you're willing to do from your politics, because let's face it, if we didn't engage with every problematic piece of media out there, we wouldn't watch or listen to anything, you know? Like,
I love the Smiths, and Morrissey is a weird right winger, but it's never stopped me from listening to the Smiths.
Yeah.
Like, it's how most people, you know, you kind of think like, you might think like, oh, that's a little disappointing, but that's about the extent that I think about it. I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna put my records away, you know, I'm not gonna watch these Clint Eastwood movies ever again. But Phil thinks people operate like this, and maybe some people do, but again, it's the terminally online weirdos who spend all their time on Twitter, not real people.
And I think he also sees himself in this argument too, because he's constantly saying like, all the work I do to be different and have a curated audience, I never get my due, I never get the recognition or whatever, you know. He sees himself as slighted and left out, but the problem is he's alienated his entire audience and everyone who's ever loved him, you know.
Hogwarts Legacy. It has all these great things. Oh no, J.K. Rowling.
Hello,
What are you
crisis.
talking about?
What's up?
What do you mean? Well, it's a good game. It has all this for robust universe,
robust,
complex things.
Robust.
Great attention to detail. All these things that for the first time ever utilized in a J.K. Rowling. You can't talk about that game.
It's just so hard to listen to him because I know all of his premises and I know what all of his arguments are based on. It's hard to take seriously.
We've been watching him closely for a while now.
Of what you just said. Thank you for the dollar tip.
Well, because the thing is, like, the reason why he's so predictable and the reason why someone like King Jad can run bingo about him every day is because he doesn't expose himself to new things. Ever. There's no new experiences for Phil Burnell outside of occasionally playing a game that he may not have played. So we can predict his every move. We kind of know what his takes are going to be before he even says it. It's amazing.
He's blue collar. Yeah.
He's a blue collar worker, dude. Oh, nice PFP nerd brew, by the way. It's a good one.
You know, if anything, what's a testament to how good Hogwarts Legacy was? My wife was not a fan of Harry Potter.
My wife.
She knew of Harry Potter. She had seen a couple of the movies.
I'm married, by the way.
She played the crap out of Hogwarts
Wait,
Legacy.
I have to see for Danny, Durag Danny, if you're still in the chat, did he do the point? I always like to look and see if he does the point, what he says.
For cat.
What's a testament to how good Hogwarts Legacy was? My wife.
Oh yeah,
the point.
You know what?
Yes, we got it.
I'll count that. I'll count that as a point. So Durag Danny pointed this out to me shortly after we started the channel. He came on one of the roast streams and he's like, if you look, every time Phil says my wife, he points at the door. And he just did it.
It was
like a knife hand point though, because it used to be the thumb and then it was now it's knife hand.
Yeah, the wife. It's like the T1000 hand. Yeah.
But she was immersed in that universe for the longest time and loved the game.
My wife.
I'm curious to hear what.
But ever since Danny pointed that out to me, I can't unsee it.
That's one of the best of the year.
Honestly, he does the same thumb that it's in the member.
She was just.
Oh yeah, that's true.
How good it was. Right?
Yeah, it's that exact same thumb. That's like playing right now. Yeah.
It's the best-selling game of the year. It's sucking people into this universe for the first time. Oh, that game doesn't exist because, you know, J.K. Rowling.
Ludwig, I don't know if Kat loved Starfield.
Again, a mile wide and inch deep. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, it just seems like that's the kind of games that she likes to play.
Kat likes those popcorn games, you know?
Yeah.
Kat's a special type of gal, if you know what I mean.
She is a special type of gal. Hear us, ALT. What is this?
I got a $2 tip. I don't know if this.
What was that? What kind of human makes that face?
Let's go back. That was special. Actually.
What is this?
Here, let's frame by frame that.
Yeah, I think we need a.
We need
an autopsy of this.
We need a slow motion. I'll take it back to like.
Time for the detractor beam segment of this stream.
Oh yeah. That's true. This is Snood's territory right here, 100%. All right, we'll go slow motion for a bit. From the sip, I need to know. All right, so we'll go playback speed. I don't know if I want to take it all the way down to a quarter, but we'll do half.
Do half for now.
All right.
Analyze. Check the data.
Data, look for somebody to ban.
Let's see here.
Unfortunately, his overlay blocks a truly good face. Here's the morph. Here it comes.
And then something triggers his interest.
What? Huh?
His two brain cells. His brain cells are swimming in gin, trying to reach each other and struggling.
Right.
I am happy to see that the whole right side of his face is not completely paralyzed. Like,
it does work.
he can at least tense like his inner eyebrow muscle.
Yeah.
That is actually interesting data.
Actually, I will save this shot. Hold on. I need to move that.
Look at how shiny that snort sack is. Look at that ring light shimmer off that thing.
I'll call it, okay, yeah. I'll call it the shimmer.
Yeah, it looks very, like it needs to be expressed.
I'm saving it in our taking L's folder.
Drain snort sack.
Yeah, you need to poke it with a sewing needle just to release some of the pressure.
What?
Hold on. We
Now
need to
he's
go
gotta
back
stare.
a few frames. We need to go.
He stares right down the barrel of the camera.
This is great. Yeah, that right there. Oh,
How do you make that face?
Oh my god.
How are his eyes different shapes?
Yeah, that's true. His eyes are his eye sockets are like distinctly different shapes and depths. Like
it's like Dragon Ball, and he's achieved Ultra Begstinct.
Oh
like, it's
my
a
god!
form
Yeah,
that you can only achieve through like years of Jin and Hogan's, and
I've achieved my third form. Yes.
You know, I just got this image of DSP being like a Shaolin monk who has like goes through his rite of passage where he spends like 20 years up at the the temple on the mountain to achieve like enlightenment. But it's like a really, really Walmart version of that, where instead of being in the temple, you just beg and pull Hogan's and drink for 20 years. And we're almost there.
Like you think his routine lifestyle is like wake up, stream, beg, pull Hogan's, repeat. That's like what would we call that? Not Shaolin monk, but there's got to be a name for it.
Somebody chat's funny enough. They'll come up with something funnier than I would.
Midlife crisis, hate army. It's up to you. Go for
it. We need silent weapons on the case.
Yeah. I'm gonna outsource.
Scowling
you guys are funnier than us.
Scowling monk.
Run our business for us.
$2 tip. Wait till you listen here to this one. I'm gonna read it word for word. You tell me.
I like Scowling Monk.
The golf cart is really fun.
Goutland Monk.
Sticking my tongue out at people.
Oak Tails.
Big
ups.
Above my head like
yep, that's a good one.
I'm beating my chest and I'm making a peace sign, making funny
Sneeze on
noises
stream.
and making my smile and eyes big.
Huh?
Dude, it literally looked like he used to rearrange.
That was another one right there. That was another one right there.
He literally looked like he had dentures there for a second. It's such a weird.
Like this. Yeah, this is like I'm not an animator, but I've worked with and talked to a lot of animators, and like this is how you would draw like the caricature of denture face in animation, like right here. Holy shit!
Yeah, like they're about to pop out and start clacking like on the desk. Hey, before you move on, I got something to say.
Sure.
But you can go.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say with that shirt, he just looks 85.
Oh yeah.
He just looks so old.
Grandpa Phil.
Somebody said in chat that the lines on his shirt are not straight.
They're not. They're not. if
now
you,
I can't
if you look
unsee.
at them, they're not. Yeah. So his shirt is crooked somehow. Yeah.
Look at his like above his right eyebrow. What is that reflecting? No,
this is a snowflake from his snowflake. Overall.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
I always,
the dandruff.
It's hard on freeze frames, but because I see people post them in Detractor Beam all the time, and I'm like, what's that white stuff? I'm like, oh, it's his stupid snow overlay.
I thought it was like a light bending physics sort of thing.
Yeah.
Ring light reflecting off of it somehow.
But thanks for the $2 tip.
So the way he said this right here, thanks for the $2 tip, was exactly the same of
well, have fun with that.
Here, listen.
I have no idea what
I'm gonna fix my internet soon. We're about done here, boys, I think. Disaster. Here, you know what? We're gonna do that again because I don't know if the stream saw it, so fuck it. We're gonna I'll just play this again for juxtaposition. Here we go. We soldier on. We're gonna finish in a couple minutes. This is all I really wanted to do today, and then I'll fix my fucking internet.
I gotta add a banned word really quick. Oh no.
Okay.
Oh,
well,
disaster.
Whatever you're doing. Wherever you're doing that
you're adding a banned word, and as soon as this ends, which it will end in a few minutes, you guys will go to Detractor Beam. So big ups everybody. Special shout outs for the memberships, and let's see, we can do this now. Thank you again, Drew Jumpman Gillert, for the 10. We appreciate that. I like this fan funding tab, so you can kind of like round it up. But bye everybody. Thank you for coming on, Lefty. Thank you, Punished Lasagna, and we'll see everybody next time. Big ups.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Mark my fucking words. I'm coming for you. I'm gonna find out who the fuck you are. You motherfucker. You are fucked.
Clip this one, bitches.